Okay, so last video we talked a little bit about just making the pixels, kind of having our setup. We had the kind of basic window. By default opens to 800 wide by 600 tall, and we need to know, and those kind of form our coordinate plane. Just like where we're going to have our x's and y's. An important thing, just by convention, normally the way, maybe this is a little bit different from math because we have zeros in the top left, right? And then we go positive, going to the right is positive, same as math. The difference is, unlike in math, if we're going down on like the coordinate plane in math, that'd be like getting more negative. In this case, we're going to be increasing values. So that might be a little bit tricky, but I think you'll be able to figure that one out. Let's see. So we're going to get into, so last time we just opened up our first window. That was it. This time I want to add some actual code to it, or I want to add some actual designs to it. So let me do public void, and this is another method that's just like, it's kind of just built into the JavaDraw library. It's expecting that you can go into here. It's expecting this when it runs, saying, hey, there should be a main method, and then the main method is going to maybe get some stuff started. It's going to open up the window, but really this is where we're going to check our code. This is where our code is really going to happen. So in here we start drawing some shapes. So you might be asking, okay, there's a lot of different, or what kind of shapes are available for us to draw? It might be kind of a first question here. So there's a few different shapes that we can draw, and what I'm going to do is, well, I'll talk a little bit more in depth about this, but there is a website to support this library, and it has a lot of explanations, and it has a lot of examples that we can use. So for example, in here, this line of code, these lines of code, drew this face. Okay, so you can see, if we look through here, if we try and break this down into shapes, what we have, there's a circle, there's like an oval here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 ovals, there's 2 rectangles in here, and so this is just how they're getting those to appear on the screen. Okay, so let's go through and let's just try to copy one of these. I'm going to take this rectangle one, and we'll kind of see what happens as we run it. Okay, and let's see. So let's just run this and see if it's going to work for us. Okay, so one thing you're probably going to experience is, technically, this is still running from the last video where I just opened up a screen. So one thing I need to do, and I'll be more explicit about this at the end of this video, is I need to close out. I need to go to my desktop, right, because I had my desktop open in the last video, and I need to close this out. So let's close that. Okay, and that's going to finish the program, and right now, because otherwise the program's kind of running in the background until we close that. Okay, so I closed the last version. Let me run this version right here. If we click on this, it's going to run. It's running the code down here. Now what we need to do is pop back over to the desktop, and we should see here we have our first rectangle on the screen. Okay, cool. So let's check out what some of these things do. We had like screen 157, 1.14, 150, 105. Let's take a look here. If we close this out, let's change this. Well, I mean, I'll just tell you that, like, the screen thing is basically, this one needs to be there. It's saying, where should this thing show up? Well, my rectangle should show up on the screen, so we'll just put that screen in here. So this is one that you probably won't change for a while, maybe ever. So it's going to appear up on the screen. Probably there's probably room to change it, but okay. And now these two values. Let's just change one and see what happens. So it was 150. Let's change it to just 50, and let's kind of just double check and see what happens there. Pop over here. It's running. Okay, so it's changed the value. Actually, we could even run 2 of these, so we could show kind of what's happening, or what change is happening. Let's see. So, and we're going to call this eyebrow 2. And so we're going to a little more detail about kind of what's happening here in the code, but I just want to get a visual for what's happening, for what's it look like. Okay, so let's do like this is 200, and so you might be noticing here already that basically what's happening is that first value is figuring out where is the start, like where's the x coordinate of where it's starting. So if we have like 50 versus 200, 200 is going to be further to the right, so that's our second eyebrow is kind of in further to the right. Oh, there's some stuff there. Let's see here. So you might be able to kind of guess from this. This is our x value. This is our y starting value. This is going to be the top right corner of our rectangle. So this corner up in the way, let's see if I can't zoom in the very top right, we're going to start a rectangle there and then define everything else based on that. So we have this is our beginning x, this is our beginning y, This is going to be our, well, let's change this a little bit, and let's do 50, just to be clear. We'll do one at a time here. Let me close this out. If I want to rerun it, I need to close that out. Let's run this again. This video doesn't take too long here. And so, okay, we can see that what we did in this first one, all we did was we changed this value from 100 down to 50. So you can probably figure out here what's happening is this value is the width. So we have the initial, the top right X value, top right Y value. This is the width, and then of course you can figure that one out. This one's going to be way too tall. This is going to be the height. And we want to close this because I had it running. So yeah, oh look, now we have our different rectangle here because I did a width of 50 and I did a height of 100. Okay. So those are some things to play around with. All right, a few other things you might have noticed in here. There's a very maybe kind of a new syntax, a new way of code writing for us. All this stuff here. And so whenever we do our code, whenever we write our objects, we're going to do it in this very kind of common kind of style. So there's a couple things in here that'll always be new. So basically what we're doing, well, let me start over here maybe. This is like the type of thing that we're doing, right? What type of thing are we making? We need to include that, and these two things, for now, should match up. These two things match up. So let's pop over to our coding. So we can see here, like we have, okay, we're gonna make a rectangle called eyebrow, and it's gonna be a new rectangle. So the type, what type of thing, and there's a few options, and I'll go through them in this video and also give you some resources to explore some more on your own, but we might have a rectangle, we might have an oval, we could have some text, there's a lot of different options in there. The type goes here. This is just a variable name. So it was called eyebrow in that one because that was what that example was trying to do. Probably be better. Variable. Ugh, hard to write with my finger. But so type, variable, new, type. This new keyword is just saying that like it's just a Java keyword. And it's saying that we are making a new something, a new type of object. And then in here is just all the stuff, and it's going to depend on all the kind of startup values. All right, so I mean, those are things like width, height, location, like we talked about just previously. And that's going to depend on the object, depending on the thing that you're making. Obviously, an oval is going to take in some different values, or going to require different things in order to build compared with a rectangle. But that's the kind of basic structure. What type of thing, the name, new thing, and then some of these variables in here. Oops. Okay, so I think that covers all that I wanted to talk about for this one. Let me give a quick check in here, see if there's anything else that I really wanted to hit for this. Yeah, good. So the order, one thing maybe I didn't cover, and these are kind of my videos I'm thinking about here, but the order is really important. So the first, like when we're drawing our rectangle, we need to, when we put in these values, there needs to be a specific order to them. Otherwise, Java is going to get very confused about what you're trying to do.